Campaigning for the Johor state election is underway, with several ceramah held over the weekend, including one by Bersama, where Rafizi said politicians should not shy away from raising difficult issues. Meanwhile, BN and Pakatan Harapan will face off in straight fights in 14 seats, with data suggesting BN holds an advantage in 7 of them. Stay tuned for this and more on KiniNews. Parti Bersama Malaysia co-leader Rafizi Ramli has lauded his party's candidate for Perling, Wei Han, for raising tough issues that actually matter to constituents. This is after Bu, in his speech, spoke out about backlash against pig farming. Half an hour after Bu's remarks about pig farming, Rafizi said he had received a text warning about potential backlash. However, he said this was a perfect example of why he wanted ordinary Malaysians to contest in elections, saying they did not filter real-life issues for political expediency.
Itu memang isu yang dekat dengan hati banyak pengundi Cina. Memang betul. Kita tak suruh orang Melayu makan babi. Kita tak suruh pun semua orang meraihkan semua, jomlah kita makan babi. Kita tak suruh. Tetapi kita kalau jadi wakil rakyat, kita kena mewakili semua orang, semua rakyat. Benda yang mungkin kita tak buat, tapi kalau perkara itu adalah penting kepada sebahagian pengundi kita, apatah lagi kalau pengundi itu ialah kumpulan yang kecil, kumpulan minoriti. Mereka hanya bergantung kepada kita untuk kita bersuara. Jadi yang Wei Han cakap tadi itu memanglah tak ada skrip. Saya tak tahulah keluar cerita ke tidak lepas ini, tapi jawapan saya atas pentas akan sama dengan jawapan saya kalau saya ditanya media atau siapa-siapa. Itulah suara rakyat orang biasa yang duduk sebagai orang Cina di negara ini.
Likewise, Rafizi added that politicians should not be afraid to address issues that are important to Malays just because they fear losing Chinese votes. He added that Bersama does not prepare speeches for their candidates and that he wants them to speak from the heart. Earlier, Bu spoke of the toll the backlash had taken on pig farmers, including some who had raised pigs for 30 to 40 years. This is believed to be in reference to a pig farming ban in Selangor. PKR Youth Chief Kamil Abdul has claimed that Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim was barred from using a public hall in Muar during a recent visit to Johor. He said the move was puzzling, given that the Prime Minister has always been accommodating and tolerant towards the Johor state government in resolving various issues. He is now calling on the Johor state government to explain what happened. Kamil told reporters in Segamat last night that the incident took place 2 weeks ago in Sungai Balang. According to him, Anwar was unable to use the Penghulu complex in Sungai Balang to meet fisherfolk, farmers, educators, and local leaders. Kamil said he wanted to know whose instruction it was to prevent the Prime Minister from using the complex. Kamil made the remarks while campaigning for Pakatan Harapan's Pemanis candidate Jalix Lee. The comments come a week after caretaker Munshi Besar on Hafiz Ghazi claimed he had been prevented from entering a Felda settlement. However, both Deputy Prime Minister Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and Anwar had denied that any such instructions had been issued. Kamil also criticized the controversy surrounding the Felda incident. He said the issue was being politicized ahead of the Johor state election and urged all parties to focus instead on presenting their policies and economic plans to voters. Around 200 PKR members in Iskandar Puteri have joined MIC ahead of the Johor state election. The group is led by former Johor PKR leader M. Murugan. Murugan had previously contested under the PKR banner in Tenggaro in 2013 and contested the Layang-Layang seats in 2018. Speaking to Malaysia Kini last night, Murugan said the group left PKR because they were disappointed with both the party's state and central leadership. According to him, MIC was the only party that championed the rights of the Indian community. Murugan claimed the final trigger came when the Iskandar Puteri PKR annual division meeting was abruptly cancelled. He said no reason was given for the cancellation. Murugan also claimed that another 150 former PKR members had left the party. According to him, they joined UMNO, MCA or Parti Bersama Malaysia instead. Party defections are a familiar feature of election season. The question now is whether this latest crossover will have any impact when Johor voters head to the polls. From now on, you can also listen to KiniNews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us. As campaigning begins in Johor, attention is being drawn to 14 seats where BN faces Pakatan Harapan in straight fights. One of the key questions is whether Perikatan Nasional supporters will transfer their votes to Barisan Nasional and how such voting patterns could influence the overall outcome. Based on previous election data, BN appears well positioned to secure at least 7 Johor seats from the 14 straight contests against Harapan on July 11th. The projections are based on GE15 voting patterns analyzed using electiondata.my. Those are seats where BN would have led even if the Johor election had been held alongside the 2022 general election. This time around, BN could stand to gain a boost from Perikatan Nasional supporters who don't want Harapan to win. This vote transferability is highly likely, with PAS even ordering its members to vote for BN rather than Harapan in these seats. In Machap, Benut, Buloh Kasab, Tanjung Surat, Pekan Nanas, and Kukop, BN recorded more than 40% of the vote during GE15. With PN votes, this is expected to increase to 60% or higher. Even if PN voters choose to stay at home instead of voting for BN, the latter is expected to come out on top. In the other set-to-win seat, Pulai Sebatang, an analysis of parliament-level votes at the state constituency level during a four-corner fight in GE15 had BN narrowly ahead of Harapan by 114 votes. It would have made it a swing seat, but with PN making way for BN, the coalition's vote share is expected to exceed 55%. The outcome now will depend on whether PN supporters actually come out to vote and whether they will vote for BN. Read the full analysis at MalaysiaKini.com. Muar MP Syed Saddiq Abdul Rahman will learn his fate on whether he will remain free or be ordered to serve a prison sentence tomorrow. This is over his case involving criminal breach of trust, misappropriation of property, and money laundering charges linked to Armada funds. Bernama reported that a 3-judge panel of the federal court is scheduled to deliver its decision on the prosecution's final appeal against Syed Saddiq's acquittal at 9 a.m. The appeal had been heard over 2 days, with submissions concluded before the panel on December 12, 2025. Previously, on June 25, 2025, the Court of Appeal had discharged and acquitted Syed Saddiq after allowing his appeal to overturn the High Court's decision of November 9, 2023. The High Court had sentenced him to 7 years imprisonment, 2 strokes of the cane, and a fine of 10 million ringgit. A day later, the Attorney General's chambers filed an appeal to the federal court. Syed Saddiq was charged with conspiring with Rafiq Hakim Razali, who was then Armada's assistant treasurer, to commit criminal breach of trust involving 1 million ringgit of Armada's funds on March 6, 2020. He also faced a charge of misappropriating 120,000 ringgit belonging to Armada Bumi Bersatu enterprise. In addition, he was accused of committing 2 money laundering transactions by transferring 50,000 ringgit into his Amanah Saham Bumi Putra account. The Rempau District Customary Council has denied that its decision to appoint a new undang was influenced by embattled ruler Tuanku Muhriz Tuanku Munawir. This is after the district appointed Hassan Abdul Hamid as its new undang, replacing Abdul Rahim Yassin, whose status as chieftain has been in dispute due to a lack of formalization. According to the Star, the council's chairperson Zulkifli Shamsuddin said that the appointment was conducted without any interference from the palace. He added that it was carried out in accordance with the Ada Perpati system. He said after the appointment, they had then sought an audience at the palace to request royal consent for the proclamation ceremony. Tuanku Muhriz formally installed Hassan as the undang at the Istana Besar Seri Menanti in Kuala Pilau on Saturday. Rahim is aligned with the faction that is trying to depose of Tuanku Muhriz. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.